Okay, we're in Payette County in Fruitland, and I'm here with.
Matt,
And over the course of your life, have you observed any changes in the climate?
uh, only yearly. The seasons change. Yeah. No, haven't noticed anything like anything drastic, I would call, aside from the wildfires that we're having. But there's a lot of speculation on that, on whether or not it's just because we're not doing a good enough job taking care of our forests, managing our forests, or if this is if it has to do with arson. Maybe activists are going out burning. I don't know.
And how's climate change impacted you, or like how's the wildfires?
Other than some smoky air and maybe some unhealthy air, I wouldn't say it's affected me much over here.
When did you first hear or learn about climate change?
I think it's been going on for a long time. I've heard about it since I was in school, elementary, middle school, maybe.
And did they teach it to you?
Teach it, the idea, yeah. I think they had different words for it. Global warming, I think, is what they first called it at first, and then climate change. But there's been lots of doomsday claims going back since the early 1900s. So,
Has your perspective on climate change changed at all since you first heard about it?
no, I've always believed that the world goes through cycles. I don't think there's enough evidence to say that humans are impacting anything, at least not drastically. I don't know if there's any or enough evidence to say that. No.
Do you think climate change will be a problem for future generations?
I think in the distant future, I think humanity is going to come at some point. There's going to be some kind of something that happens. Yeah, I think humanity in general is kind of self-destructive, but that's just human nature. And I don't know if there's anything you're going to be able to change that.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think there's anything we should do about climate change?
I think everybody's okay with, trying to leave a smaller footprint. But I don't think it should be at the cost of people, to where people are not able to live their lives. Things are getting more expensive right now. But it comes to a point that people are going to be struggling too much to be able to live decent lives if you do that. So I think a lot of these climate programs, these agendas that we have, can be hurtful and more to the middle or lower class than to the higher class.
Yeah.
So I think it's more at the expense to the middle and the lower class than it is to anybody else.
Do you think there's anything the government should do in terms of climate change?
Well, that goes with the same point that I just made. A lot of the government's agendas is affecting the middle and lower class. It's making things more expensive. People have a hard time buying groceries. A couple bags of groceries is like $100 nowadays. And back in the day, like 15 years ago, you can get a whole grocery cart full of groceries for $100. So inflation's changed. Things have changed. Prices are just going to continue going up.
Do you think the government should change policies so it's not affecting lower middle class as much?
Yeah. I'm not saying a giant tax on the more wealthy. I think taxes. I think everybody should pay their fair share. It doesn't matter where on that scale you are. So.
Do you think that would help with climate change?
I think the government's going after small beans, I guess you can say. The U.S. isn't the biggest contributor to climate change. I know China is one of the biggest, as well as India, I think, is also one of the biggest. I've been told, I don't know the figures, but I've been told that China has more to do with the climate crisis than a lot of other countries combined. I don't remember what all those countries were, but I don't have those stats for you. But what was your question again?
I think I said, oh, do you think the policies that you're talking about, like with
I don't think their current policies are good for us right now. I think
Okay.
they're focusing on things that don't really matter. Right now, with the whole electric car thing, that's great in theory if it works, if it can support us. But right now, what we're seeing with the power outages in California, all across the U.S., blackouts going on because we don't have enough electricity. Pushing everybody to have electric cars right now isn't going to work. So it's stuff like that. We need better technology before we can start pushing people away from gas, pushing people away from natural gas to heat their homes, air conditioners, stuff like that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And then we just need a quick